if you want to lose body fat, build muscle, get in really, really great shape, and then stay in that 10 to 15% body fat range as a man, 20 to 25% as a woman, one of the most confusing situations to be in is skinny fat. And you know, having a little bit too little muscle and too much body fat. And what to do in that situation, that's what we'll cover in this video. So guys, there's two scenarios that I want to share with you and the solution for each. The first scenario is somebody what I call being just skinny fat, meaning having no muscle, or very, very small amount of muscle, and having, let's say, a too much body fat, but not being like really, really, really overweight. Like just having, 10 to 20, maybe a bit, something like that, too much body fat. That's what I would call the, average or normal skinny fat. In that case, the idea, the wrong idea, the myth actually, that in order to build muscle, you have to be in a calorie surplus. This is not true. Now, actually at this day and age, almost end of 2024, we have a bunch of studies that actually showed that body recomposition, which simply means losing body fat while building muscle in a deficit, is not only possible, but it is I would say actually an average result that I get with one of my clients. And I've transformed over 1,200 clients so far in the last 16 years. And I can tell you probably 95% of all of these people gained muscle while losing body fat in a caloric deficit. How is that possible? Well, simply because in order to build muscle, you really need two big things. Number one is the proper incentive to the brain and body to build muscle, and that comes from proper training, meaning proper lifting weights. And that doesn't mean, I go to the gym and do my workouts, which is what most people in the gym do, which is cool, but that means just training, not proper training, is basically resulting in no muscle. That's why vast majority of people who go to the gym, you can see them, 4 or 5 times a week. The guy's like a gym rat, and there's no results. Like, he looks the same 5 years ago as he does today, as he did 7 years ago and 10 years ago. There are no results because people are going there. I have a bunch of videos. Check out click here, one of the many videos where I showed why that happens, why people go to the gym and get no results. But basically, proper training is what's needed to be an incentive to your brain and body to build muscle. That's number one, the first step. Because without it, nothing else matters, because you didn't, provide incentive or give your body a reason to build muscle. Number two is enough protein. Protein is literally a building block. Let's say you want to build a wall, these are the bricks that build the wall. That's what protein is. So, and by the way, almost everybody eats insufficient protein. They don't eat enough protein. So you need to properly train in order to give your body a reason to build muscle. And two, say, hey, now when I incentivize you to build muscle, now here's actual building blocks to build it, which is protein. So these are the two things. Provided you have these two things, you can absolutely be in a caloric deficit and still build muscle. As I said, almost 90-95% of all my clients do exactly that. They build muscle while burning body fat in a deficit. And this is truly the solution for skinny fat, which is basically figure out what the caloric deficit is. And number one thing here that I want to mention is you cannot have too big of a deficit. So for example, people go on these, wildly restrictive diets, like here's carnivore, cut, all the carbs, which is 75% of what an average person eats. So they end up starving themselves, basically. You will not be building muscle if you starve yourself. Same thing with all the other fat diets, keto, carnivore, veganism, fasting, whatever it is. People just do these, cutting out complete food groups out of your normal eating, which is a horrible idea longer term. And then expect that, hey, I'm going to eat 1,000 calories a day as a man and I'm going to be building a lot of muscle. Yeah, good luck. That's not going to happen. So make sure to have a normal deficit. Anywhere between 15 and 20% off of your maintenance is a great starting point for vast majority of people. Okay? So that is really the solution for almost everybody. At least 2 proper workouts per week. If you're doing 2 to 3, so let's say 2 or 3 workouts in the gym per week. And again, please remember, this does not have to be the gym. You can be having a home gym. You can work out at home in your garage, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what resistance training you're doing, but you have to put some kind of challenge in your muscles. Otherwise, they won't grow. They have no reason to. So the number one thing, 2 to 3 workouts per week, more than enough. Just do full body every time. You'll be golden. And proper deficit, anywhere from 15 to 20% off of your maintenance, and enough protein. These three things are truly the solution for being skinny fat. That's the solution. Now, the second category that I mentioned initially is somebody who's over fat. So this is what I would say: if you're a man, 30% body fat or more. If you're a woman, 40% body fat or more. In this case, you're not really skinny fat because you can't even know how much muscle you have underneath because there's so much fat. So really, the number one thing you need to do and focus on initially is a really serious fat loss phase. So now we're talking about, bigger caloric deficit. For a man, 25%, maybe even more. For a woman, maybe 30% body fat. So relatively aggressive deficits that lead to significant amount of body fat lost. In that first phase that I talk about, just being skinny fat, you can lose half a pound to a pound of body fat per week and be totally fine. In this phase, if you are in the second category and you have a larger amount of body fat to lose, maybe 30, 40, 50 or more pounds to lose of body fat, in that case, you can be losing up to 2 pounds of body fat per week. And that means, in 8 to 12 weeks, maybe, let's say 3 to 4 or more months, you will have a huge transformation, meaning you will lose so much body fat that you will absolutely be a completely different person. You won't even be able to recognize yourself, and other people won't even be able to recognize yourself, which is great. But then after that phase, you can actually figure out, okay, where am I now? Am I now in a skinny fat phase, or am I actually just, I have a decent amount of muscle, but I'm now so lean that I can do something else? So in either scenario, you absolutely should be working out. You should go to the gym and build muscle. It doesn't matter where you are on this journey, but truly the solution for being skinny fat is threefold. As I said, number one, minimum of 2 full body gym sessions or resistance training sessions per week. Number 2, sensible deficit, meaning moderate deficit. Do not take large deficit and starve yourself. And number 3, enough protein. Do these 3 things and I absolutely guarantee you, you will not be skinny fat. And again, last final point here, please remember, you cannot expect results overnight. You have to be patient. In the first phase, if you're in that first category, anywhere between 3 to 6 months is going to be needed to have a really phenomenal complete transformation. In the second category, if you have really decent amount, 30, 40, 50 pounds of body fat or more to lose, you should expect 6+ months, anywhere from 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer. If somebody is obese, they have 100 pounds to lose. That's not going to happen in less than a year or maybe even more. So please remember, be patient. That is basically the key to this game, is patience, doing the right things, which are these 3 that I mentioned, but being patient and being consistent with them. That is the goal, and that's the solution for skinny fat. So guys, if you like this and like to see exactly how I transformed 1,200 clients so far, please click this video right here. It's going to show you A to Z process on how I did that. Also, if you like to consider being coached one-on-one, because that is the most effective, the only shortcut that exists in the world is like actual coaching by a pro, somebody who's done this 1,000+ times for 16 years and is guaranteed to get you there faster and with fewer mistakes than in any other option. Then click below this video and you can book a call to talk to me or somebody on my team. And if we're a match a couple of months from now, you'll be in the best shape you've ever been, guaranteed. That's why my program is called Guaranteed Ripped. So guys, check that out. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.